Please share your name, pronouns, role at SNHU, and role within Adelante.
My name is Xochitl Moya Valdivia. I am a finance counselor here at SNHU, and I am a member of Adelante.
My name is Sara Santiago. I use the pronouns she, her, hers. I work as an academic advisor for Southern New Hampshire for our online graduate students in our STEM and healthcare programs, and I am also the community officer for the Adelante ERG.
So, how did each of you first get involved with Adelante and why?
So the first time I heard about Adelante was by my TL, my team leader. I am a part of the Spanish initiative with the finance counselor group, and he just said, "Look, they have this group that is, it sounds very interesting." So that's why I joined.
I first got involved with Adelante when they started advertising that it was going to happen internally. I was involved with our first two ERGs, employee resource groups here, HUES, which is an allyship ERG, and WAG, which is a mental wellness ERG. And I applied to be an officer for Adelante, and I got the role. And so I'm part of, there's four of us, four officers. We're part of the inaugural Adelante ERG officer team.
So, what does Hispanic Heritage Month mean to you?
I think it's a way of kind of like showcase, the all the things that important people in the U.S. have brought to the U.S. as Latinos or Hispanic, and I think that's awesome.
To me, Hispanic Heritage Month. So I'm born and raised. I'm from Buffalo, New York. I actually don't speak Spanish fluently. My dad is from Puerto Rico. And to me, Hispanic Heritage Month means an opportunity to embrace a side of myself that I don't always get a chance to acknowledge or celebrate or recognize, especially coming from an area where it was a very white area growing up. I had a lot of friends that didn't exactly look like me all the time. So it was just a chance to just celebrate, my heritage, my dad's heritage, his side of the family, Puerto Rico, share knowledge with people that maybe they didn't know about before, and just really embrace this one side of me that I didn't always get a chance to showcase or let shine all the time.
So, how do you typically celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month each year?
Well, the way that we celebrate, I live very close to the border, so I kind of like remember my country every day. But the way I celebrate is with my kids. Now they are U.S. citizens, right? So they're not really into like the culture or things like that. So that's the way I celebrate, kind of like showing them, look, this is how we celebrate it, right? In my case, I cook Mexican food all the time. So it's kind of like a year-round celebration.
Typically, I like to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month by attending events that aren't always offered year-round, where I currently live and where I grew up, because it is a majority white area. So like in Buffalo around this time, it's beforehand, but right before Hispanic Heritage Month starts, we do our Puerto Rican Day Parade, which is a lot of fun. When I was in college, I was part of the student group, Unidos, and we would plan an entire month's worth of stuff, and we would hold a giant party and bring in live music and have dance lessons for folks to join. So just, again, really showcasing and embracing this other side of myself and my friends. And now, out of college and older adults, I love to use it as a time to educate others who maybe have misconceptions or they have stereotypes that they hold on to that we're working on moving past. And I also like to use my voice for perhaps those who hesitate to speak up so that they also have a voice. So trying to speak for others so that I can make, the workplace a better place for all of our Hispanic and Latinx employees.
This year, as I'm sure you both know, the theme for Hispanic Heritage Month is Pioneers of Change, Shaping the Future Together. And so I wanted to ask, what does it mean to be a pioneer of change to you, and how do you personally strive to be a pioneer of change in your community?
So I believe that to be a pioneer of change is to do something that nobody has done it before, right? To be the first ones to actually, work on a project or include things that are not included before. And I think that SNHU is, at least in my experience as working in the past 20 years in different organizations and places, I feel that they are pioneers in change when it comes to inclusivity, to really showcase those who are coming from other places, other countries. And now that we're talking about Latinos, Hispanic people, and I think this university is a pioneer in change in that area. I strive to be one too, because when I started working here and I knew about this project or this initiative that they have, the Spanish initiative, I jump in right away where I said, yes, I want to be part of it, because I want to help other students, because I once was one of those students that did not know any English, did not know anything about education and things like that. So, that's how I strive every day. I'm part of this program now. I had helped like a lot of students, when it comes to financial aid in Spanish, which financial aid itself is one language. So helping them to understand financial aid in their own language, I think it's important, and that's what I do.
To me, a pioneer of change is somebody who challenges the status quo, which is part of what Southern New Hampshire tries to do. But it's somebody who sees a problem and doesn't just complain about it. They actually come up with a solution, and they talk to others and see like, what is everyone's ideas? How can we make this work? How can we work together to make this happen? Personally, I strive to be a pioneer of change within, Adelante and this new community as a whole, by doing just that. So if I see, as an advisor from my seat in advising, if I see that maybe we could benefit from somebody putting together an email template or a document or something just to like house information so that everyone has access to the same stuff and we're not doing double work, then I'll just go ahead and do that, and I'll share it with everybody. And, for Adelante, if I'm hearing from multiple people, for instance, an example is like, oh, my name is being said incorrectly while I'm at work. How can we make that better? And we were able to work with the people team in HR to set up a feature in Workday where folks can record themselves saying their name the way that it is supposed to be said, so that anyone can go into Workday and hear you say your own name, so that they can come to you or come to a meeting and already know how to say your name, which I think creates a more inclusive and environment of belonging for everybody.
Can you tell me about a Hispanic or Latinx pioneer of change who inspires you?
I would say yes. I think that, and not going into politics or anything like that, but I think that a person who inspired me is the president of Mexico right now, because I think that he has brought a lot of unity. Like he has united all of us who are away from Mexico to become one. Something that we did not have before, and I think that he is the one who had made this change that we did not experience before.
An inspirational pioneer of change for me, not to be cliche, is my dad. So my dad moved here from Puerto Rico when he was 3. His dad, never finished middle school, didn't have a GED or high school or anything like that. Came here as a migrant worker in New York State, brought his family here. My dad grew up in an area where, he was translating a lot for his parents. A lot of his friends, were Italian, but didn't really look like him. And he finished high school, and then he went to college. He moved 3 hours away, and he went to college in Buffalo, New York. And then he started a business, and he had a family. And then he, at the ripe age of his early 50s, went back and got his executive MBA. And he actually started a whole new career trajectory in his mid 50s, as after being a non-traditional learner and going to an MBA program. And now he is the CFO or VP of something for a very large healthcare company in Western New York, where he still lives. And I think that he's a good pioneer of change because he helped single-handedly, and he's the only person in his family to have done so, to have gone to college and to break that cycle and to set a good example for, me and his other children, so that we know, what education can help you do and where it can help you go.
How would you encourage people to celebrate Hispanic heritage year round?
I think that it's very important to celebrate. If those who want to celebrate is to, I guess, just going back to their traditions, kind of like teaching them to their kids or passing that information along to their children. It's a nice way to celebrate our roots as Hispanics, Latinos, not try to pass that to them so it does not get lost, right? Because sometimes, like, the first generation remembers, like, maybe how grandma made chocolate, right? Like in Mexico, but like maybe not the second generation or the third generation. So I think something to keep that Hispanic, Latino vibe alive is just to passing down to our children, like to teach them about our culture and where we're coming from.
I encourage people to celebrate Hispanic heritage year round by gently educating folks. So, for instance, there's, a stereotype, cliche again, but, Taco Tuesday. And people want to know, like, did you eat tacos growing up? I say, no, because I'm Puerto Rican. We don't do tacos. That's more of maybe like a Mexican thing. And then explaining the differences in the different foods and how, just because a restaurant serves a certain type of food doesn't mean it's going to appeal to the giant, diverse community that makes up all of Central and Latin America and all the Hispanics and Latinx folks that are out there, so that they know, like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. And then they learn something new and interesting, and hopefully they pass it along to somebody else. And there's just a dissemination of accurate information that doesn't fall into those stereotypes that many Americans hold when they think about the Hispanic and Latinx communities already.
Is there anything else you'd like to share or highlight, whether that's about yourself, about Hispanic Heritage Month, about Adelante, or and anything like that?
No, I guess I would like to say that, just for those celebrating, right? Just remember where you come from, because those that don't know where they come from, they don't know where they're going when it comes to culture. And just remember and embrace it, because it's beautiful. There's nothing wrong with being Hispanic or, or knowing another language or a third language or a fourth language. Sometimes, it's awesome. It's beautiful, and it's good to embrace it.
I think Southern New Hampshire University does a great job of creating safe spaces for folks who come from similar backgrounds or ethnicities or demographics or whomever, to connect and be in a safe space together. So whether it's at monthly meetings or just in the Teams chat, or we have quick little cafecito y chismes twice a week or once a week for like half an hour. It's just a chance for people to connect with each other, especially because we're in such a spread out and geographically diverse workforce now. We're in 36 different states. And I think, and I wish that other large companies would make sure that they have spaces like this, because it's so important for folks when they come to work that maybe and at home and in their communities, a lot of people look like them, but at work, it's not the case. And you spend a lot of time at work. So to have that, similar community in the workplace for feelings of inclusion, belonging is super important. And I'm really, the last thing I just want to highlight is I'm really proud of what Adelante has been able to do in its first year. We're going on a year and a half so far to accomplish and to get established, and the positive changes that we've been able to bring, and the positive safe space that we're able to provide our members. We started off with like maybe 30 members, 27, and now we're over 150 in about a year. So it's really exciting. And I hope everyone at some point in their life has a chance to have that safe space of that in group, so that you can just be yourself with other people, whether it's at work or home or just wherever.